Now, Bociurkiw is a global affairs analyst and a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. He says the stakes are high during the UN Secretary General's visit to Ukraine.
The fact that Secretary General Guterres was here, as well as President Erdogan of Turkey, who, by the way, has a direct phone line to Mr. Putin, are actually very good signs. However, the situation at the plant is deteriorating. The latest communication from the plant on their Telegram channel is that there are fears that electricity will be cut by the Russians, therefore there won't be sufficient cooling, therefore we could be heading to a disaster. But I think President Erdogan, having been here yesterday, having signaled in the most dire terms I've heard him use about this situation that we could be headed to disaster, probably picked up the phone today to Mr. Putin and tried to talk some sense into him. But I'll tell you what I think quickly is that knowing as well as we do about Mr. Putin's tactics, his playbook is he doesn't give anything up, even if it's for the cause of humanity. So what I think he'll be looking for is something in return. And a lot of analysts agree that that could be, for example, stemming the flow of Western weapons into Ukraine. And perhaps then he'll agree to the inspectors and a demilitarized zone.
So is that what you make of Russia's stance so far over the Zaporizhzhia plant, that it's being used as leverage to get something else that they might want? Because, I mean, that puts the whole world at risk.
Oh, absolutely. And the Ukrainians have used the term nuclear blackmail as well. I mean, as a young reporter, I covered the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986. It was complete negligence there. And that is the same fear right now. Nancy, when you have Russian troops, armed troops, escorting Ukrainian staff, for example, to the lavatory or preventing them from coming to the station, there's no room for error in these types of operations. So I think that's what sends a chill down everyone's back. And I've spoken to many Ukrainians here, and they very well remember Chernobyl. They're still living with the effects of that. So the stakes couldn't be higher for Ukraine and for humanity.
And so we've seen some intervention by Turkey here and the United Nations yield some results, the first diplomatic breakthrough really when it came to the grain deal. There have been expectations that this second visit could yield a bit more. As you said, Turkey has a direct line to Russia, but in terms of solving the wider conflict through peaceful means, have we seen anything from this visit that gives hope in that direction?
Well, of course, talk is better than not talk, diplomatic dialogue. The fact that this was the first visit hosted by Mr. Zelensky by a foreign leader outside of Kyiv since the start of the war is very significant. I think we were looking, Nancy, for some other confidence-building measures. For example, an agreement on exchange of POWs. There was a large crowd of relatives and supporters of those detained POWs in Donetsk yesterday. If you look into their eyes and into their faces, is absolutely heartbreaking because they don't even know if their detained relatives are alive. But in terms of longer hopes for peace, we didn't see much. And in fairness to Mr. Zelensky, I don't think anyone will want to be in his position right now because he is under immense pressure right now not to give up any concessions, not to give up any territory. And the Russians are masters at manipulation and this type of pressure negotiation. So there's not much room for maneuver. But finally, the fact that Mr. Erdogan, again, is involved, he has a direct line to Mr. Putin, he is relatively well trusted by both sides, is reason for hope.
Speaking there to the Atlantic Council's Bociurkiw.